23. X squared minus 2x minus 9 equals 0. One solution to the given equation can be written as 1 plus square root of k, where k is a constant. What is the value of k? Okay, so anytime you have a quadratic and there's a solution, this quadratic has a solution and it has a square root in it, factoring is out the window. Factoring is not going to give you those square root answers. The things that will give you the square root answers are the quadratic equation or completing the square. With this one, I'd probably go with completing the square. When I took it on my own, I always take the tests myself first before I make these videos. And that's how I did it. That's the way I did it. And it went pretty well, went pretty quickly. All right, so the only sort of thing I think a lot of students they do completing the square once or twice. They learn it for the test and then they forget about it. And then it comes back later and they're like, what is this? I've seen it happen so many times. It's very common. And completing the square just keeps rearing its ugly head. No one warns you about this. But if you don't know how to do this, learn it. It's very good thing to learn. Okay, so to complete the square, we're going to try to turn these first two terms. We're going to add something to them so that they make a perfect binomial square. So we're going to get rid of this negative 9 first. We're going to move it over here. So all we're dealing with is the x squared minus 2x. Okay, so I'm going to add 9 to both sides. And I get x squared minus 2x on the left. And on the right, we get a positive 9. The next thing you want to do is make sure there is nothing in front of the x squared. There's no number or a negative sign, either of those. A negative 1 in front of the x or any other number besides positive 1. You are going to need to divide everything by that number to get rid of it. That may leave you with fractions. Tough noogies. You got to have it. It's got to be just a plain positive x squared. So the goal, again, is to make a binomial. It's going to be x plus or minus something squared. Now, here's the mechanics of what's happening. If I have this perfect square, it is the same thing being multiplied twice. Now, let's sort of imagine if we're doing FOIL, x times x, that's going to give us our first term, x squared. Where is this one going to come from? It's going to come from the combination of the outside, x times this number, and the inside, x times that number. Now, this is a perfect square, so it's the same thing twice. So these two identical things were added together to make the negative 2x. So divide it by 2, and then you'll find what each of those two things were. So negative 2x divided by 2 is negative x. So this is telling us there was a negative x and another negative x. They got added together and it made that negative 2x. So x times what equals negative x? Negative 1. That's where that's coming from. Okay, so negative x combined, negative 2x. That's the math that's at play. And then what would that last one be? Now that I have these two negative ones, it would be negative 1 times negative 1, those last terms, or negative 1 squared, would be positive 1. So x minus 1 times x minus 1 equals x squared minus 2x plus 1. That's the background. I have a longer video I'm going to link down below that goes into this in more detail if that was a little too fast for you. But that is what's happening. But in the moment, the steps you would want to take would be you look at this number, you divide it by 2. That is the number that goes in the binomial. So negative 2 divided by 2 is negative 1. This x squared, it always just becomes x. And then the last term you're going to add is this number squared. Negative 1 squared is plus 1. But this is an equation, so we need to do the same thing on the other side. Okay, so on the left, that plus 1 has turned this into x minus 1 squared. Because if I multiply this out, x minus 1 times x minus 1, that's what I get. Again, I took this number, divided it by 2. That gave me this number. Then I squared it. That gave me the last one, and I made sure to add it on the other side as well. Those are the steps. So on the right, I have 9 plus 1 or 10. Now to solve this, I'm going to say take the square root of either side to get rid of this square. On the left, then I would have x minus 1, and on the right, I would have plus or minus the square root of 10. To get rid of that minus 1, I'm going to plus 1 to both sides, and that would give me my final answer of x is equal to 1 plus or minus the square root of 10. And it says one solution to the given equation can be written as 1 plus square root of k, where k is a constant. What is the value of k? Dun, dun, dun. It is 10, and that is B. You can also do the quadratic formula. Same kind of thing. Negative b plus or minus square root of b squared minus 4ac all over 2a. Your a, b, and c come from that original equation. The a is the number in front of x, in this case 1. B would be that negative 2 in front of the x. C would be negative 9, and you would plug it into there, do all that math, and you're going to get the same thing. You're going to get 1 plus or minus square root of 10. If you know how to do completing the square, I think it's easier in this case. Of course, if you are not comfortable with doing completing the square, or you're not, you don't remember it on the day, quadratic formula also works perfectly well. Hey guys, if this was helpful or useful in any way, please let YouTube know so I can keep helping you and others like you. Comment, like, share, subscribe, you know the drill. Also, if you're interested in practical or fun math-related items like this math clock or this hopefully humorous t-shirt, click on the links down below to check out my Spreadshop and Etsy stores. Thank you so much for stopping by. Hope you have a great day. See you later. Bye.